Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show. It is Tuesday, December 10th. Oh, my God. I probably need to start Christmas shopping or making – my wife's been all over me. Make a Christmas list.
You haven't started?
No, I need to. I mean, there's things I want. It's really just finding out what 5 to 6 books I want. But, yeah, I got to make a Christmas list. We got to talk about the Cowboys and the Bengals, Denny. Fallout from a pretty sleepy, inconsequential Monday Night Football game. Kind of year we're like, yeah, it's the Cowboys. It's the Bengals.
What can you do?
So we're still going to talk about it. We're going to look ahead to Rams, 49ers. There we do have some questions. Chaos in the 49ers backfield. Deebo Samuel fading further from relevance. Jauan Jennings, the kind of guy that needs to be jammed into lineups. Matthew Stafford, QB1 season. Tyler Higbee maybe returning. Then some interesting news topics. A Seahawks backfield. Zach Charbonnet has the best performance of any Seattle running back all season. Jets backfield in question mark mode. I just did a Reddit Ask Me Anything, Denny, and a stunning amount of people where this is like seriously like 10 to 12 different people. I'm not exaggerating. Like asking like if they can bench AJ Brown.
Wow.
It's like, no. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But surely I can bench DK Metcalf though, right?
No.
We're going to talk about that one too. A few other topics that we have time. The Chargers offense. On the Falcons offense, one of our favorite things to do on the show is make Denny look dumb when it comes to baseball.
Yeah.
And Denny, so first off, what team was Juan Soto on last year?
Yes. He's now a Met.
He is on the Mets.
Yeah, and
There's a clue. There's a clue.
Right, Juan Soto, Mr. Soto. It was he was on the Astros.
No, Denny, what town are the Mets in?
The Yankees.
Yeah, there.
Okay, because that makes sense because I saw this graphic where they were like, you take away Soto, and the rest of the Yankees stink.
Which is true.
Is that true?
Yeah, well,
the greatest player of all time, and Aaron.
Well,
Judge?
It's true. Other than the best player in baseball, Aaron Judge. Yes.
By the way, it's Aaron Judge. Are you being serious? This guy's 6'8".
Yeah, he's huge. He's like the classic any other human in a picture with him, like I'm trying to think like who's in it. Like Patrick Mahomes would look like me standing next to Aaron Judge. Yeah.
I saw that listed and I was like, wait, why? When was he 6'8"?
Yeah, he's a gargoyle.
Wow.
Very famous photos of Aaron Judge standing next to Jose Altuve, who's 5'4", 5'5".
But has that dog?
Yeah, he does. They look like Aaron Judge looks like he's from another planet. And like Jose Altuve looks like he's from like 100 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Basically, when they're Jose Altuve's been working in the mines, so he didn't grow those final 2 or 3 inches. Too soon. Oh, come on,
too soon.
They closed the mine. They closed the mine 20 years ago.
Right, and no one was hurt.
Yeah, no one was hurt. Juan Soto, do you remember what team he began his career with? By the way, there's a clue. It's near you.
Oh yeah. He was on the Nationals.
I was praying you were going to say the Orioles, but yeah.
No. I do recall that. And so he signs an $800 million deal over 13 years. Is that so?
15 years. 15 years.
He's not going to play 15 years for the Mets.
He is 26. He's maybe 27. It's only the greatest players in the history of the league play until that age. He is off to that kind of start.
Yeah.
But I have kind of Luddite, old-fashioned baseball guy ideas. Even in the modern age, if you're an elite hitter, you usually hit better than 270. I get laughed out of the building if I said that on a Sabre podcast, but because Aaron Judge does hit 320, Shohei Ohtani hits 320, Mookie Betts usually hit 320. Even in this era, a genuinely elite player, just try to get a hit. Stop trying to get a walk every time you're at bat one. All right.
Right.
He's getting paid because he walks more than anyone. And sure, he hits a lot of home runs and is an elite hitter. Well, and is some of the best plate discipline we've ever seen. No, he's really good.
Yeah. But the analytics say you take a walk, you strike out, or you hit a home run. And
that's correct. That's correct. Hits are useless. Doubles are useless.
Who would want a gapper?
No,
no one wants that.
It's not that simple. It is pretty simple in the Cowboys and Bengals that, I don't know, Bengals, they have good players. We start them. The Cowboys have some players that we start, and nothing is changing down the stretch. One thing that could maybe change, Denny, Jake Ferguson began the year pretty clear cut, top 12 tight end. Has not been working out that way of late for various reasons, injuries, quarterback changes. He was finally back from his concussion against the Bengals. Only 3 catches for 32 yards, though. Last time he took the field, he had 1 catch. That was when he got hurt. Gosh, he's been over 32 yards like once in his past 6 games. Is Jake Ferguson someone who needs to be kept around? Why are we starting the podcast with Jake Ferguson? Needs to be kept around in 12-team leagues with the playoffs here, Denny?
I thought we were going to talk about how Joe Burrow said we are keeping Tee Higgins no matter what.
I know that. I actually thought about putting on there. It just seemed like I didn't know where to go with that. Really.
I guess we, it's us. We are the ones who are wrong on Tee Higgins. Everybody else, all the other coaches see him as the wide receiver 1 in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow says we're nothing without him. Obviously, we're wrong.
Pretty interesting to come after. Jamar Chase single-handedly wins the game.
Right.
The post-game takeaway is about Tee
Higgins, who was also on the team last night.
He was.
So Ferguson 80% route rate. I mean, he saw 6 targets. Like, what do you want from your tight end? I will say you could probably do better. Like, I'm just going to throw a name out there. If Will Dissly's out this week, Stone Smart is probably a better option than Jake Ferguson.
It's been a while since there's a hipster tight end. I don't think I'm playing Stone Smart.
No,
Jake Ferguson. No. It's some guy named Stone catches 3 passes, and then we're supposed to play him all of a sudden.
I mean, he's kind of a freak. He's kind of a receiver playing tight end, and Chargers stink. So
they do. The Chargers are so banged up, and the reality is you might want to drop Jake Ferguson. Then it's the classic looks at the tight end rankings once.
Yeah.
And you're just like, Kyle Pitts, Juwan Johnson, Dalton Schultz, Cole Kmet. Ertz. He's going to be the least satisfying final spot or 2 on your bench ever, but you probably do need to ultimately keep him around. Denny, Rico season has never been more rolling than it is right now. Zeke, he's a mascot on the bench. The bank examiner has officially annexed your home and has it rezoned. It will be a parking lot. It actually is not going to be a Christmas shop. It is a parking lot, paving over your beautiful golf course. But what's the latest on Rico season? That was another guy I was getting a lot of questions on, where people seem like unsure, like if Rico was like a must start at this point. But Rico, even with bye weeks over, even with the most important games of the season, certainly appears to be a must start at this point. Is that correct?
I think so. I mean, at worst, as a flex, over the past 2 weeks, he has 40 of the team's 46 running back rushing attempts. So dominating in that area. He saw 18 on Monday night against the Bengals. I will say he strikes me as someone, as a running back, who will be game script sensitive. He ran around on 58% of the dropbacks against the Bengals. I'm sorry, over the past 2 weeks, 58% of the routes, and then 5 targets over those 2 games. It's not like he's going to be able to survive fantasy wise if and when the Cowboys get down. But they're playing Carolina this week. I mean, look, Carolina's not your grandfather's Panthers, so maybe they
just almost win. They still lose, but they almost win.
But that matters. The moral victories are piling up.
The moral victories have never been more moral.
No, right? No, it's off the charts morality wise for the Panthers, and but yeah, I think you got to start Rico Dowdle. I mean, 40 of 46 carries. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the game script is, you nailed it. And the Panthers are favored. It's the first time in any game since 2022 they've been favored.
Yeah.
But they're not pulling away from the Dallas Cowboys. It could get dicier for Rico against the Bucks on NBC, apparently in week 16, against the Eagles in the fantasy championship. But to lose in the fantasy semifinals, you have to first make them. And Rico should be in your fantasy quarterfinals lineups. I mean, any final thoughts on T and that was weird. That was weird.
Yeah, for those who may not keep up to the second on NFL news, Joe Burrow came out after last night's win, and he said, "We will do." He's confident that Tee Higgins will return. Of course, Tee Higgins will be an unrestricted free agent. And apparently teams are going to be tripping all over themselves to assign him to a max deal. So I don't really know how they're going to do it. I mean, Joe Burrow seemed to imply that he would take a hit money-wise.
Joe Burrow definitely implied pay cut for himself, which I don't know. All right, to each their own.
All right, man. Whatever you say. I mean, it's
Yeah,
working out.
I would
well.
maybe just get ready to learn Jermaine Burton.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he's so afraid of actually having to lean on Jermaine Burton, who hasn't shown up at the Bengals facility in 8 weeks, that he's like,
he takes the league minimum.
Yeah, we got to keep Tee Higgins, man.
We got to keep T. Like, listen, in free agency, we're gonna have a lot of time to talk about this after the season. He just seems like the most clear cut ever. Like 2010, Daniel Snyder is paying Tee Higgins like 2 times what he's worth. And, he goes under 1,000 yards in 3 seasons combined for the Commanders. And just with the health history. And I absolutely love when the number 1 free agent receiver is heading into the offseason. No, yeah, but I got to figure out how to keep my hamstrings healthy.
Yeah.
Halfway through his career. And so, yeah, maybe I'll do the Christian Watson thing. Maybe I'll go to the lab.
Yeah.
Real great sign.
I know we're not supposed to say that anyone is injury prone. I will say a guy with a lifetime of soft tissue injuries. I mean, if I'm a GM, I'm not even considering it. I'm
genuinely not even considering.
I'm just saying, oh, okay, nice. Okay, he's a free agent. We'll look elsewhere. And instead of paying him the biggest contract in the history of the league, we will look elsewhere.
Might flip a 5th rounder or 6th rounder for Jermaine Burton instead of
stop with Burton. Oh my gosh.
But T is, I mean, he's like the talk of the town. So like the Patriots are leaking that they want to sign him, and he's gonna be a hot commodity.
Love him.
I know teams they really do. There is a humongous disconnect. Like if I actually knew how to watch film, like there'd be like one like tiny little hip movement. Stop it there. Like Jim Harbaugh is like yelling to Paul. I'm like, what's going on? Like, did you see that? I'm like, no.
Right. Yeah, his hips are at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah. All right.
Have you seen Jamar Chase play?
And then like they forward it 1 frame later. I'm like, did his hamstring just disattach? Like, well, that part is bad. No, yeah, don't watch that part.
You're overlooking the good part.
We are haters, but anyways, I'm a Shanny hater. I'm a Rams hater. I laugh when opposing fans take over the Rams stadium, but really, really big game, kind of a de facto playoff game on Thursday night between the Rams and 49ers. 49ers holding on for dear life. The Rams are trying to do the class. What is it with ball knowers and the Rams? Oof. Like the Rams play 1/2 and the ball knowers, like the Rams are back. They're a Super Bowl contender.
I'm telling this is what I was trying to hint at last week with you and Kyle, was that every, 10 days or so during the season, I find an article like, 4,000 to 8,000 words on like why Matthew Stafford is the greatest quarterback of a generation.
I know. It is insane. I know.
I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong, man. He's good when he's not pressured, when things are clicking, he's good. But wow, like I get it. I do understand that he is really good at manipulating defenses, and he is apparently the only one who can do that.
And he just never gets manipulated himself. He's not the active leader in pick sixes. He never ever makes a mistake reading the defense.
No, that's true. That's true.
So yeah, the ball knowers love Matthew Stafford, and sure, the Rams just won the quote game of the year against the Bills, but the Rams aren't even good, Denny. They're a good team.
Sometimes
this is a great game, especially for Thursday night. A lot of fantasy implications, none more so in the 49ers backfield, where it seems like the plug and play RB1 assembly line is finally at an end. We don't know Isaac. How do you say this guy's last name?
Guerendo.
I always want to say something wrong. We don't know Isaac Guerendo's status. Certainly seems like even if it's a minor injury, he's not playing Thursday night, Denny. But the situation is dire enough that it could be like a genuine like game time decision type situation for the 49ers. Yeah. But if Guerendo does not play, I mean, it's Patrick Taylor, because like Jordan Mason, we're like, yeah, clear RB1. Guerendo, we're like, clear RB1. Bye weeks are over. The short week, journeyman Patrick Taylor Jr., could he actually be like a top 18 running back if Guerendo sits? Or is this like finally pushing it too far?
Yeah, that was my thought. Like, how far can the Shanny thing be pushed? Like, can anybody fall off their couch and go for 100 yards in this system?
Kyle Dvorak has 9 carries for 67 yards.
right. I'd play him. Yeah, I mean, Patrick Taylor, after Guerrero went out, had 7 rushes, including a touchdown. Keyshawn Vaughn had 2 rushes. Taylor was only one of those 2 backups to log a pass route and a target. So
they did claim Izzy Abanikanda off waivers last week.
Yeah, I would guess that Taylor would probably be the lead back.
He'll be the lead back, but it's been a situation where, like, when you've been the lead back, you've been like the every snap back. That's kind of where I start to falter on Patrick Taylor and like the plug and play stuff, because I feel like one of Keyshawn, there's a reason Keyshawn Vaughn's there. There's a reason they claimed Israel Abanikanda, because they clearly want someone who can like actually catch some passes.
Yeah.
This isn't, I have no idea if they're up to speed enough on the offense, though.
Yeah.
That is where I falter on Patrick Taylor, where it's difficult to envision like every snap.
Patrick Taylor. I don't think that's happening. Also, Keyshawn Vaughn has a history of being like a decent pass catcher out of college, at least. Yeah. So it would be surprising if anybody saw more than like 12 touches, I think, in this backfield with Guerrero out.
Well, okay. Let's say Guerendo's out, Patrick Taylor plays. Patrick Taylor Jr. or, well, this depends on Bucky Irving or Rashad White, though. Like a Bucky Irving sits.
If Bucky Irving sits?
Yeah, there's too many variables in this one. Yeah. Patrick Taylor Jr. or Ramondre Stevenson?
Who do the Patriots play?
They play the Arizona Cardinals.
I go with Mondre.
Yeah, I have Mondre I actually have Taylor one spot ahead of Mondre. Patrick Taylor Jr. or Tyrone Tracy Jr. against the Ravens?
Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah. So we're basically in alignment that maybe it'll happen, but this is like a bridge too far for the Shanny thing for us in fantasy. And there is a limit to just how plug and play you can really be, especially in a short week. But say if Guerrero does play, Denny, would you treat him as an RB1, or is it like a probationary week where it's more like top 20, top 24?
I mean, I think you just got to play him. I think if he's healthy enough to be out there, then he has a shot to go 15 touches, maybe more. So I think you play. I mean, really, like, we can't be probationary at this point in the fantasy season, this being the postseason. I think you have to play him if he plays.
Deebo Samuel. So last week, one reason why Keyshawn Vaughn didn't do a ton as a pass catcher, that's because Deebo Samuel was kind of predictably the change of pace running back, Denny. But it was 5 carries for 13 yards. Mm-hmm. He's just not contributing anything explosive on the ground this season. Contributing extremely little through the air. Again, with bye weeks over, Deebo Samuel, like, just deep in a funk. 22 yards is his 4-week high for receiving. That's with like lots of targets there for the taking. Is Deebo startable for the fantasy playoffs? Like, there's gonna be a lot of people who don't have any alternatives and still have to treat Deebo as like their second flex or their wide receiver 3. But is the classic, like, say you have like actual alternatives, because it's part of the board where you could have like 4 or 5 wide receiver 3s. Is Deebo Samuel like startable, or is he someone you're tie breaking against, basically? Let's put it that way.
Well, we have to mention the post that Deebo Samuel put on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter. Oh, wow. He since deleted, of course.
Of course.
But Deebo Samuel said, not struggling at all, just not getting the ball, with 4 exclamation points.
That's pretty compelling, actually. The wheel might be greased.
Yes, right. We have entered greasy wheel territory. But he's not wrong. I guess they made him delete it, or maybe his agent did or something. But he has, first of all, he's being targeted on 15% of his routes over the past 3 games. That's way down from his usual like 23 to 25% route target per route run rate. He's been bumped to the outside since the Brandon Ayuk injury and Jauan Jennings emergence. So over the past 4 weeks, Deebo's only playing in the slot on about 25% of his routes, whereas Jennings is primarily running from the slot. That's a huge change, right? In role. And I think it's taken away a lot of the easy button looks that Deebo used to get. So that really hurts him, especially from like a PPR cheat code perspective.
Yeah, Deebo failed the just be better than Jauan Jennings challenge.
He did.
Jauan Jennings seems to be better than Deebo right now. Listen, it was time to hit send on the post, though. Like, this was even that's a bad sign. Like, Deebo should have been crying about getting the ball more like 3 weeks ago. The fact that he's waited this long suggests to me maybe even he doesn't have confidence. And like this kind of like rote ROTE, just kind of perfunctory of the post, like whatever. I guess I gotta claim it.
I guess I gotta post like a wide receiver now.
Yeah, and like it seems almost like his heart's not in it. He should have done it like 2 or 3 weeks ago because that's how long it's been going on.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's not part. I mean, just to get back to your original question. So like I'm in a 14-team league where I have 3 flex spots, and I'm like thrilled to be able to use Deebo Samuel in one of them. Okay.
Well, yeah, in that scenario,
I know, but I'm just saying that's the sort of situation where it's like a no-brainer. Other than that, I don't think it's a no-brainer. I think that you need to think about these things. Do you have some names lined up that might
Deebo Senior on Thursday evening or Adam Thielen against the Cowboys?
That's a good question. I lean Thielen.
Wow. Deebo Senior, Michael Pittman against the Denver Broncos.
That's a tough one. I'd probably go Deebo.
Yeah, Senior over the junior there, I would say. Deebo Senior, this one's probably too easy. I haven't adjusted this part of my rankings board yet. Or Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper in the highest game total of the year against the Lions.
I think Amari.
I think it's a little tougher.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel, Denny, or Jaden Reed, the rug puller extraordinaire. Baby Deebo.
Yeah, right. Is it Father Deebo or Baby Deebo? Yeah. Both of them are not good for fantasy. Gosh, I mean, I still go Jaden Reed, honestly.
You'd still go Jaden Reed.
I guess you wouldn't, huh?
I don't know. Jaden. I mean, is Jaden Reed good? Like, is there any evidence for the Jaden Reed being good?
I think
he's good when he's schemed wide open and then can run. Yeah, like great. he doesn't command targets.
I can't explain a 0 ball from him on Thursday night against the Lions. Like how you know, I thought that he was injured. I assumed he was injured. And then I looked on rotoworld.com and I thought, oh, he's not injured. He just was not part of the offense at all.
It's going to be very telling. If Jaden Reed, we need an Instagram post. We need an X post.
Yeah.
Maybe even Blue Sky. We need something from Jaden Reed this week commanding the ball. Very bad sign if he doesn't, because then it means he doesn't believe he deserves the ball.
No,
That's
right.
a bad sign.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, we need an introspective post, maybe a post of like mountains in the sunset.
No, that we don't. You do not want introspection. You want anger. You want like vengeance. You want like angry. I'm trying to think of like what is something they normally post, but like something from like the Zoomers won't even remember this movie. Like a still from like Snatch. Brad Pitt looking deranged and. Like it seems like they won't get me the ball anymore, huh? And we need something like
we need some sort of still from one of the Jokers, whether it's Jared Leto.
That's okay. That's right. The Joker does matter. If it's the Jared Leto Joker, this guy doesn't believe. If it's the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, like we're getting warmer. If it's the Heath Ledger Joker, like holy crap! Like
then you know, oh man, that's 8 targets coming.
Yeah, that is 8 targets. Jack Nicholson Joker, it'd be hard to. It'd be hard to say. Jack Nicholson Joker. We might be looking at a healthy scratch.
No, there's not a single active NFL player who even knows who Jack Nicholson is.
The Jack Nicholson Joker has a different vibe than the other Jokers. So I would be very concerned. Like, how does this kid even know who Jack Nicholson Joker is? That's not a good sign.
How can someone in their 20s know something like that?
Sticking with sort of the same topic, how high is too high for Jauan Jennings, who just is the target commander right now in this 49ers offense? I was getting a lot of questions on Reddit too. Like people clearly have like added Jauan Jennings at some point, but now it's the fantasy playoffs. They have like bigger names. They don't it seems like they don't trust playing him. But I mean, I'm considering him a must start. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think he's the wide receiver 1, like pretty clearly. Like I said, I mean, he's the primary slot guy that that means that he's gonna see more of the easy button looks than we think than I thought he would originally. It's not just like downfield high variance stuff for him. And he's seeing a lot of inside the 20 looks, and particularly inside the 10, because he's a big bodied guy, and that's how that happens. So I don't really see any reason to be too hesitant, especially against a Rams secondary that's not very good.
I think especially being on a short week, when it's a guy like you're not like used to starting. Oh, I've been starting Jauan Jennings for a while, and like everything's on the line. It just seems like it's like too much time to think about. I feel like you don't want to rush starting Jauan Jennings, kind of like you actually. I guess I would say you do want more time. Like people like just like don't trust themselves, but yeah, you just he's it's well past. I mean, the sample size is pretty large at this point.
Yeah,
he commanding targets.
Yeah,
I consider Jauan Jennings a must start. I mean, this is pointless. It's too high on the board. There's no either ors.
Well, also, I mean, if we want to connect a couple dots here, if they're without Isaac Orendo and they can't lean on their running attack, the Niners are likely to drop back more than usual. At least it may be a lot against LA. Bad secondary for the Rams. I mean, I think we can connect the dots and say it's actually a pretty good spot for a guy like what's his name? Like Jennings.
Jauan Jennings. Yeah, the Rams defense struggling to the point that they just allowed the greatest fantasy quarterback performance of all time.
Yeah.
And then this being Sean McDermott, the Rams still won the game.
Yeah,
it's
pretty amazing.
By the way, yeah, the Jack Nicholson Joker, I just confirmed he wore like a flower. This is like a orchid.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if I see like a 24-year-old NFL receiver posting Jack Nicholson Joker, like, yikes. Someone's got to familiarize this guy with Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix's game, because this is concerning.
This is not we don't want old timey gangster.
I know we don't want slapstick like gadgets Joker. Yeah, that Joker have a water gun? I thought the Joker's supposed to have a real gun.
Oh my god! By the way, I've been watching the Penguin show, and I keep thinking about like old school, like bang, pow, boom, Penguin versus this Penguin
versus like gritty mafia don.
It's more than gritty. I mean, it is like grotesque, right?
Yeah.
And I imagine them in an SNL sketch together, and it just blows my mind. It makes me laugh really hard.
I'm a TV producer, and here's I greenlight your show, but here's my feedback. Like the gritty reboot needs to be 10% grittier. Well, sir, we've already made it as gritty as we can possibly make it. It doesn't matter. Gotta be 10% grittier. The sun, for some reason, is never once out in Gotham City in this show.
Never once out. It makes me think of the gritty reboot of Mufasa that's coming out.
I know.
He's a born killer.
It must be 10% grittier always. It can never be less gritty, or can also just never be a new property? Question mark.
No, we can't have that.
Yeah, I wasn't really looking for the origin story of Mufasa. Matthew Stafford, is he a QB1, Denny? Short week. Just had a good game. Not as good. I don't know. It's a similar matchup to the Bills defense, actually. Stafford, I just feel like it's hard for him to flop because of the receivers he has at his disposal. It's also just a somewhat limited ceiling.
Yeah.
Do you consider Matthew Stafford a QB1 off the top of your head?
I probably don't. I think the Rams are likely, if game script cooperates, are likely to be pretty run heavy here. On the season, the Rams are 19th in pass rate over expected. They're middle of the road in early down pass rate. And actually that's fallen in the past month or so. They're facing, of course, the Niners, who are by far the most extreme run funnel defense in the league. I see this as a Kyron Williams game. I think, an efficient day, 3 touchdowns, say, from Stafford, and he gets there probably. But I don't see this as like a 45-50 drop back sort of game like we saw last week against Buffalo.
You basically just, as you were talking, I was wanting to lower Matthew Stafford. I have him as a QB 13 right now, but that was very preliminary.
Yeah.
And I feel like I probably need it. Matthew Stafford or Jameis Winston against the Chiefs.
Oh, give me Jameis, man.
Matthew Stafford or Patrick Mahomes against the Browns.
Oof. Stafford
or AR5 in Denver, Colorado.
I mean, the way that they've been using Richardson as a rusher, I might lean Richardson there.
I got to get Stafford lower. Final one, Stafford or Jordan Love in Seattle?
Despite the ugly environment there offensively, I'd go Love.
No, it's over for Love. I'm done. I'm done with the benefit of the doubt in the rankings. Last week was the final straw. You don't get a 52.5 total and then like a 10.22.
I mean,
be serious. Be serious.
It's not his fault that Josh Jacobs like stumbles into the end zone 3 times a game.
Everyone's fed up. I can't get at halftime on Amazon last week. Kaylee Hartung, I tweeted this, but she really was to Matt LaFleur. She was basically like, admit it, Matt, like you need to pass more. And like he didn't say that they didn't. She was like, really, like, why aren't you passing? You got to pass more. Like speaking for like the entire nation. Like, all right, like yeah. Josh Jacobs is good. He's efficient. Blah 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 blah. You need to pass more, don't you? And he did pass a lot more in the second half, but.
Well, it's just like reporters asking Saints coaches, like, "You're done with Taysom, correct?"
It really was. It was like it was like
it's
that.
Similar.
And, like they're gonna have to remove Taysom Hill's leg for me to be done with him. Too soon.
It is maybe too soon. Yeah.
But Tyler Higbee, he's back apparently.
I mean, I don't even know what to say here. Like. The guy could literally run like 4 routes here. So I feel like you could probably do better. Stone Smart would be preferable.
So you would? I actually was going to ask you Stone Smart over Tyler Higbee if he's back.
Yeah. Stone Smart over everybody. Give me a break.
Tyler Higbee or Noah Gray?
Noah Gray.
Yeah, you can't play Higbee. That's actually
you can't. I mean,
no, I don't even know why I asked that. Good time to regroup and take a break. We'll be right back after this. It's an NFC battle in the Pacific Northwest Sunday night when Jordan Love and the Packers square off with Geno Smith and the Seahawks. Coverage of the matchup begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on NBC and Peacock. Yeah, man. Geno and Jordan, we need you to actually throw the ball. That's all I'm going to say.
I know.
Need you to actually throw the ball.
2 teams that have completely pulled the plug on any concept of moving the ball through the air.
And as we know, Seattle had no choice. It wasn't working. It was dumb. It was bad. It was not working. One reason they're not going to suddenly ramp up the pass is because Zach Charbonnet just had by far the best performance by any Seahawks running back all season, Denny. Yeah. Kenneth Walker's status remains uncertain. One of my theories on Ken Walker was that he was already hurt before they finally sat. I mean, he'd been on the injury report several times. I think he was playing like too hurt and this was not being effective. Zach Charbonnet, never really known for his explosiveness, just looked like he had another gear than Kenneth Walker did last week. And Kenneth Walker remains sidelined, and he seems to be on the wrong side of questionable right now.
Yeah.
Would Zach Charbonnet be an RB1? Like I know, like there's endless thought exercises here. But, like he was a runaway RB1 last week. The bye weeks are over. But Zach Charbonnet, yes, he had a guys like David Montgomery, Jonathan Taylor, Chuba Hubbard, Aaron Jones. Is Zach Charbonnet an RB1 if Ken Walker remains sidelined?
I think so, because you're talking about a guy who functioned both as the primary pass catching back and, of course, the primary rusher in an increasingly run heavy Seattle offense. He also asked for an apology from Seattle fans on the X platform.
Really?
Yeah. What? He said, "Say sorry now," something like that.
That's like Heath level Joker. That's serious Joker there.
And maybe it's an inside joke for Seahawks. I know you guys are very insular. You have your own culture. You don't share with anybody. So I get that. But from what I got was that Zach Charbonnet did not like Seattle fans being mad that he was drafted in the first place because they already had Ken Walker. Anyway, he's better.
But I must say it's curious. Denny leaves Twitter and everyone else shows up.
Yeah, right. It's just, they were just waiting.
Very curious.
So yeah, I think Charbonnet, definitely everyone. I know Ken Walker is undergoing further testing, which is always a real bad sign. It kind of feels like we're about to get the second shoe dropping saying Ken Walker shut down for now, whatever.
It does. So yeah, I was gonna say, if Kenneth Walker miraculously does play this week, like, could you even trust Kenneth Walker? Like, I won't even ask about it if you could trust Zach Charbonnet, but could you trust Kenneth Walker if he were active this week? Actually, it's
really tough. Again, I think, like a deep league, you just gotta go with it. But if you have a choice, I mean, like I have teams where Ken Walker and I had like Chuba Hubbard. You're easily playing Chuba Hubbard over Ken Walker. I mean, God, Hubbard's like a top 15 play easily. So, go ahead.
Chuba versus Charbonnet is what I was going to say.
That's close. I mean, if Charbonnet if Walker's out, then I'd go Charbonnet probably.
I have Charbonnet higher, but then I was kind of wavering on that just now. I was like, why do I have that? Because the Cowboys run D.
I know.
They've shored up like a little bit.
I know. And Chuba's like the centerpiece of the entire offense.
He is. Right now. He is. Yeah, curious. Everyone's talking about Bryce, and it's Chuba. And no one
love him, man.
Chuba.
They really do love him.
They do. But yeah, Kenneth Walker, I totally agree. Does not seem like he's going to play this week. Other backfield that's in flux is the Jets. Breece Hall was another guy who seemed like he was playing hurt. They finally reached like shut it down territory. They have not shut him down, but he didn't play last week. He seems just very, very up in the air this week. Braelon Allen all year we thought was going to be a plug and play like option. He was not. He returned to a committee with Isaiah Davis. Do you have any sense to make of this Jets backfield, Denny? Where this is really, really, it's a classic. Like the Jets needed the bye weeks to keep happening because now that like we have the full player pool, like Braelon Allen, Isaiah Davis do not look very appealing. Even Breece Hall, if he comes back, it's like, am I really going to get Breece Hall in the top 24? What are your thoughts on the Jets backfield right now?
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Davis saw 10 carries to 11 for Braelon Allen. They split. They actually both had 22 pass routes. Braelon Allen caught 4 balls. So, it wasn't as horrible, I think, as folks are talking about for Braelon Allen. Like, that's okay usage.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's not horrible. I mean, I don't think anyone went into that game with that thinking that we had in August where it's like Braelon Allen takes over this backfield if Breece misses any time.
I don't think we thought touches like stand still though. It was like almost the exact same amount of touches for both.
Yeah, unfortunately, Isaiah Davis is good.
He is. That's a big problem. And unfortunately, Braelon Allen is not.
Is probably not good.
No, is he? I actually do. I have no idea. What did the metrics say on Braelon?
He's a big burly guy. He looks for contact, but like Isaiah Davis is more explosive. I think is probably better at avoiding tackles, things of that nature. Seems like a more natural pass catcher because Braelon Allen does not quite seem that way. Yeah, I mean, I think Davis and Allen should be seen pretty much as the same if Breece Hall is out this week.
I mean, you have to choose then. Are you starting Braelon Allen or Isaiah Davis? Does Braelon Allen still get the tie break just because he has been involved longer and clearly had a higher level of trust from the jump? Maybe that level of trust is eroding, but do you tie break in favor of Braelon Allen or is it just truly 50-50?
Honestly, I'm probably tie breaking the other way.
Really? Yeah, I guess Isaiah does the things to score more fantasy points.
Yes, right.
Braelon would probably be option 1 at the goal line. But
he wasn't.
Devontae Adams is option 1 at the goal line, though, too, even beyond their backfield. So Isaiah Davis was the preferred option at the goal line.
Well, they split the inside the 10 snaps, and so I thought, going into the Dolphins game, I thought, okay, well, Braelon Allen is definitely the goal line guy because he's big, but Isaiah Davis is not small, and he seemed to be the guy, at least part of the time. It's really tough to decipher, but Braelon Allen is a touchdown dependent RB3.
If Breece Hall played, what would you set the touches over under at for Breece Hall? Like 11.5?
Yeah, I was going to say 12.
All right, yeah. So if Breece plays, basically we just described a player who's not in the top 24.
No, but they are playing the Jaguars, and the Jaguars are an everything funnel. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets try to pour it on here.
I was going to say, when I remember as the Jags, what we're getting. This is Aaron Rodgers' last stand. This is like one final opportunity to stuff the stat sheet.
Yeah. To
like 184-yard day for Devontae Adams, that kind of thing. And then he retires.
This is his Super Bowl.
This is his Super. This actually is the Rodgers Super Bowl. I'm not playing any Jets running backs. Never mind. Not getting any touches.
Well, I don't know. I mean, somebody's going to catch some passes out of the backfield, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. So Denny, the Redditors were they were concerned. They were uptight about A.J. Brown, who
Yeah.
is struggling. But boy, the enemy was speaking so kindly and holding a knife. A.J. Brown, everyone else sees Jalen Hurts, and he had a bad week 14. Yes, but like people don't really view Jalen Hurts as a problem for the Eagles, except for A.J. Brown, basically. So we need to get better at passing. And, he's past 4 yardage totals are 43, 66, 109, and 65. He's caught at least 4 passes. The floor has not like totally evaporated. Very little ceiling. He's upset with the quarterback. But I don't know, man. This just seems like the ultimate squeaky wheel, like nuke game waiting to happen. What are your thoughts on A.J. Brown and his recent struggles and his quarterback comments and a tough matchup with the Steelers?
Yeah, right. Tough matchup. I have some very bleak, dismal stats for A.J. Brown managers in just a minute. I mean, it kind of explains what's going on here. It has nothing to do with A.J. Brown. He's the same player as always, explosive, can do a lot with little as far as targets go. I mean, this is what the team is. This Eagles team, when they have a lead in 2024, they're passing at a 35% clip. The next closest team passes at a 44% clip. So it's a huge gap. And they happen to be good. Unfortunately, the Eagles happen to be good. So there will be no passing going forward. I'm sorry to AJ Brown. So
even after he puts on the Joker, because first off, he didn't embody a Joker. He created a new Joker.
No, right. And I get it. Okay. Whatever Joker he's going for.
He's AJ Brown Joker. This is like he's his own Joker.
But what I'm saying is, in a normal offense, attending to the squeaky wheel means 10 targets. In this offense, it might mean 4.
No, well, 4 says absolutely. He actually has not drawn fewer than 4. It means 7 or 8. Is what I would say.
It might mean 7 or 8. So here are my stats. This, if you don't mind. Eagles are under their expected dropback rate in every single game this year except for week 3 against the Saints. I don't really know why that happened.
That why that happened. Not to cut you off, like, all right, the Eagles are. I mean, everyone thinks the Saints are good now.
Yeah, but so they
stop. Yeah, we have to send a message in there.
They've been at least 9% below their expected pass rate in 6 of their past 7 games. So this is especially, been the case of late where they've gone super run heavy. AJ Brown is being targeted on 25% of his routes. That's really good. That means he's still a target commander, right? You get targeted on every one of every 4 routes. That's good stuff. Here's the thing. Here's the problem. I've identified it. AJ Brown has run fewer routes this season than let me check my notes. Jalen Naylor and Noah Brown and Van Jefferson.
Cut us, Mike. This is too much.
I know.
It's too much.
It's disgusting. Ray McLeod and Demario Douglas have more targets than AJ Brown. I'm only offering facts. Okay. And facts don't care about your feelings.
No, they do not. Facts and logic on AJ Brown. But no, I mean, surely he's just going to nuke. Right? I mean, right?
I guess. I mean, you got to start them, and you're hoping that the whining turns into 8 targets. Yeah.
He was the yet to be cast Timothy Chalamet Joker.
That's definitely happening.
That is 100% happening.
He doesn't even have to lose weight.
Now, what do you think about Timothy Chalamet? Is our guy Bob, by the way, Mr. Dylan? He's playing Mr. Bob Dylan. And
I mean, the trailer looks decent.
Looks decent, but it's a classic. I can never see this film because I cannot ever picture Bob Dylan as Timothy Chalamet. I'm a Dylan head, a Bobcat, as they're known online. I can never, ever. This is not a joke. So I wanted to read. I did read it. David McCullough's fantastic biography on John Adams. When it was time for me to read it, all of the editions throughout the time had Paul Giamatti on the cover. Because it was an HBO miniseries at the time. And I'm like, I cannot be picturing John Adams as Paul Giamatti. I'm sorry. Like, I was refused to be doing this.
That's good.
And it's the same. Like, I cannot be picturing Bob Dylan as Timothy Chalamet. And we'll not be seeing the film for that reason.
If I were a huge Dylan fan, I mean, all the respect, but I'm not on your level. I probably would not want to see it either. Like I would never want to see. They actually made
They made several Bowie films.
They made a Bowie movie that was horrible.
Yeah.
But then they did it right a couple years later.
Oh, really? By the way, guess who else? You probably know this. Guess who else has been mysteriously out of nowhere, cryptically tweeting a lot lately?
Who?
Bob Dylan.
Seriously?
Yeah, where it's like very clearly him and not management.
Oh, really?
He posts like once a week now, and they're always like really like weird and inscrutable.
That's on the X platform.
On the X platform, there's no mirror yet on Blue Sky.
No mirror.
No mirror for the Bob Dylan posting. Producer Adam, we're going to take a short break. Then we'll be right back after this with our final three topics. Stars of the PGA Tour and LPGA team up in Naples for the Grant Thornton Invitational. Find out if Lydia Ko and Jason Day can defend their title in Florida from Friday through Sunday on NBC, Golf Channel, and Peacock. I mean, Denny, is NBC just creating new golf events to keep you satiated until they head to Hawaii next month?
Yeah.
What's going on?
We need it. Yeah, we need it, and wherever there's good weather, there needs to be golf being played. So we appreciate it.
Listen, you and my dad and the golf sickos are legion, so we appreciate the golf continuing. We don't appreciate DK Metcalf being totally done, Denny. And realized should have gone with DK right after we talked about Zach Charbonnet.
That's okay.
But we didn't. We didn't do that. That's none of your business why we didn't do it.
Sure, it was intentional.
Sure, I quote just forgot, but it's none of your business why. Yeah, DK. I know, man. It's bleak. Is it as bleak as AJ Brown? Because it's DK is to the point. Like AJ Brown is just the ultimate. Like, gotta have faith, man. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know it's annoying. It's like almost like supernatural, superstitious. You just have to play AJ Brown.
Right.
DK Metcalf. I'm like, dude, how do I get DK Metcalf on my bench?
Tell
me what to do.
It's similar, and it's similar because since week 10, the Seahawks are 20th in pass rate over expected. This is after they were first in pass rate over expected over the season's first 6 weeks. So that's just all. We talked about this on the Sunday show. That's all gone. Also, Geno is not throwing deep at all. He's averaging 6.7 air yards per attempt since week 10. That was really when the shift happened in this offense. That air yards per attempt ranks 25th out of 30 qualifying quarterbacks over that stretch. So like there's some cope I can offer about DK Metcalf. Like here's some cope. Over the past 3 games, Metcalf has 51% of the team's air yards, which is a lot. It's really, really good for the spreadsheets. But like last week against the Cardinals, yes, DK Metcalf led the Seahawks in air yards. Would you like to know how many air yards he had?
42. He
had 61. And that is really quite low. So
quite low. At least I undershot it. So
you did. I mean, really, like, we had games where DK Metcalf was seeing 150 to 200 air yards. That's gone. So, the upside is just ripped out, and you're just hoping for a touchdown. You're hoping for a long, like, run after the catch sort of thing, which is not really his thing, right? And he doesn't get the ball in those situations either. It's tough. I mean, he's a top 24 option, maybe.
He's on the borderline. I had my very, very first go round. I had him as the wide receiver 23. I might need to adjust that. DK Metcalf or Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas.
Really? DK Metcalf or Malik Neighbors?
Neighbors.
DK Metcalf or hobbled Ladd McConkey?
If Ladd plays, I'm playing Ladd.
DK or this is when it starts to probably get to be too much. Devontae Smith.
DK
or Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's a tough one. Cardinals play the Patriots this week.
They do. It doesn't matter though.
No, it doesn't.
Tyler doesn't care.
It's the same. It's the same profile.
It is.
So I'd go with DK, I guess.
I think honestly, though, I think the targets floor is a little higher for Marvin Harrison at this point.
Probably.
Final one, DK or Mr. Rug Puller himself, Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers.
Wow. This is
I'm sorry, man.
It's gonna be tough with DK. I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board because I have not settled on a ranking for DK. And we mentioned Ladd McConkey. The Chargers offense, this one we can't really rely on because like for the fantasy playoffs anymore, Denny, because Justin Herbert was pushing for QB1 status. Then Ladd got banged up. J.K. Dobbins goes out, kind of makes the whole offense a little less functional. Will Dissly is injured now. Herbert himself is injured again. I mean, it's kind of a bizarre question, like maybe too open-ended. But like, so just first off, would it be good to ever have Justin Herbert in your lineup in the fantasy playoffs? Or are the question marks just too much to really be relying on Justin Herbert during the fantasy playoffs?
You don't feel great about it, but I mean, you could ask for a worse spot this week against the massive mega giga run pass funnel Bucks. And
he could, but he has no one to throw to.
I know. That is something.
Like they have no running game now either. Like the whole thing is kind of falling apart. It seems like for the Chargers.
I would prefer that he had one good receiver, which is why Ladd McConkey is important here. I'd feel way better about him if McConkey is back in the lineup. I don't think Dissly matters at all for his purposes.
It's not. You think there's no difference between good and bad Will Dissly, Stone Smart things? You're wrong.
No, No, you're wrong. Stone Smart has always been better. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you can dismiss Herbert this week. It's a really good spot.
You can. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, easily.
Unfortunately,
I like Justin Herbert or Anthony Richardson.
I guess Richardson.
I mean, Mahomes, Love, Winston, Stafford. This is the part of the board you're talking about. Can you really trust Herbert? Even if Ladd plays, he's got 2 injuries. Like, do you have any confidence in him being effective?
Wait. No, I'm pumping the brakes for a second here.
All right.
The Chargers have a 24.75 implied total here. That game, that Bucks Chargers game has a 46.5 point total.
That's not high. That's not high enough, man. To rely on a quarterback with no weapons, that's not high enough for me.
Wow. The Lions Bills at 55.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess we're gonna have to agree to disagree. I think Herbert is okay this week.
Lions Bills at 55, by the way, is like the pandemic never happened. Finally, we're finally getting game totals like the past 5 years of American life didn't happen. We're back. We're back.
Oh, hey, look at the Niners Rams at 48.5. That's the second highest of the week. We're going to be cooking on Thursday.
No, 48.5 being the second highest is when it's never been more over.
I know.
48.5 used to be like the 6th highest total.
Yeah.
Now, it's been the highest total some weeks this year. So it's never
basically what you're saying is they stopped calling holding on every play in 2020 and the league went crazy with points, right?
I don't remember what I'm saying, really.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what happened.
No, genuinely, what happened is that everyone. This has been my talking point for a while. Everyone thought it was just like a new era, a new style of football. What it actually was Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, like 6 or 7 like Hall of Fame level quarterbacks, all playing at once, all attempting like 40 passes a week. And it just like felt like it was going to go on that way forever. And I think it actually was just an abnormally good period of quarterback play.
You're talking about like 2016 to 2020.
Like kind of the end. Yeah. Like that was like the very end of that golden era was like the absolute peak of NFL offense. And I think people thought that was like go on forever.
I see.
So all those guys retired. And then defenses finally started adjusting. Like every defense, was built to stop the pass now. Like they stopped caring about the run. I think it's those two things in concert. I think it really is like an abnormally like historic crop of quarterbacks.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Makes too much sense almost.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's lots of other factors, but just real quick, speaking of never been more over, I mean the Raiders. If Desmond Ridder's the quarterback. I mean Aiden O'Connell with the classic from he's never playing football again too. He has a bone bruise and he's day to day.
Yeah.
He might actually play. They did announce Desmond Ridder as the starter. But if Aiden O'Connell gets healthy, I get the feeling that could change.
Wasn't AOC carted off?
He was. Yeah.
Wow, that's quite the bruise.
Yeah, I know. But we don't know what's going on with this stuff. But Has it ever been more over if it's Desmond Ridder? For
It's never, ever been more over. Yeah, I don't even. I mean, you just, I guess, start Bowers, but like, I don't even think you can start Jacoby Myers at that point.
You can't. It's not as simple as just saying bench Jacoby Myers, but he does fall to like the 3-4 borderline, basically. It is not as simple to say you can't play Jacoby Myers, but it's going to be tough to play. I mean,
Ritter's real bad.
Ridder is honestly one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. Like he's just like that bad.
Yeah, he seems to just be completely overwhelmed. And I think that's hard. That's hard to come by in the NFL. Honestly,
he's just too robotic too. Like, he's the classic. Like people never understand. Like he's supposed to be a good athlete. Like he doesn't play fast enough. Desmond Ridder really does not play fast enough. Is what I think it boils down to. Yeah, boy, it will be tough to play any Raiders. So, any final thoughts? Are we done podcasting?
You're playing Sincere McCormick. That's all I know.
We are playing Sincere McCormick. We're leaving 4 minutes on the table here, though. Should we really stop the show?
We could have gone longer on Juan Soto.
I say, would you remember what was the fourth team that Juan Soto played for?
Are you serious? There was a fourth?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. In our nation's biggest state. I'll give you a hint.
Oh yeah, he played
most populous state.
He played for the Dodgers.
No, yeah, never mind. No, he played for the Padres.
Oh, okay.
The Friars, the Dads, as they're known.
There you go.
So anyway,
I appreciate the Padres sticking with the ugliest colors ever. By the way,
well, the Padres can't decide which horrific color scheme they want to stick with. They change it like every 4 or 5 years. They
really?
Can't.
I mean, I saw them play last year, and they look like the Tony Gwynn Padres.
Yeah, they went back. They've cycled through though. That was about the third different. Okay. They had a far worse like Navy one before this.
Oof.
That was like the peak, like basically like monochrome modern sports uniforms. It looked horrible.
That's not good.
So this is better than that. But all right, we're done talking about football. But we're going to be talking about a lot more football on Thursday when Kyle Dvorak joins us to preview the Week 15 slate. When Denny hosts his Week 15 Week 15 Q&A at noon Eastern on Friday. The regression files are coming out. The funnel report's coming out. My rankings are coming out. So for Denny Carter, thank you for listening. We'll be all over the website this week, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Rotoworld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.